Welcome everyone that's joining us today for this special conversation between Daaji and Dr. Bruce Lipton. And last I checked, we have thousands of people joining us today from across the globe, as well as live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. My name is Emma Ivaturi. I'm a heartfulness trainer here in the US. And today I have the pleasure of kicking off this wonderful conversation, which you guys already kicked off between Daaji and Bruce. Welcome to both of you. Wonderful to see you both together again.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Emma. And I'm so honored to be here with Daaji, because there are people who are leading the evolution of the planet, whose consciousness and heart have come together to create a new understanding. And I'm here with Daaji because he is the man who is doing that as well. He is an important person in the evolution of our planet, which gives me great honor to be here with Daaji. So thank you all for letting me participate.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Well, so happy to join with Dr. Lipton here. And I'm a great fan of his writings. He does not have just one theory, but he has multiple theories on how to change by changing our environment. Simple thing, external as well as internal, mainly the internal. And this is how we can change our own destiny. Changing our destiny, we change the destiny of each other. And thank you, Doctor. You are a great person who has influenced the planet. Because your scientific approach, you cannot doubt it. You cannot say that I don't believe in this, because it's proven black and white. Spirituality, which I am tackling with, it's not black and white. It is gray. So many people say you need to have faith. But here, I'm trying to make spirituality also like a science, that you need not have faith. Once you close your eyes and receive this transmission we offer, with this transmission, how one is able to dive deep into their consciousness and attain a spiritual state which one can experience for oneself. It's not that you read something in a book and you are happy and you begin to crave, when will I have this experience? But here, within few minutes, you are able to experience that. The process is very simple, and that's what we offer. And this book that we are sharing with the world is all about how we meditate, and how with each meditation, we are able to fine-tune our consciousness with the rest of the universal consciousness. We tap into that, see, and we go beyond our limited potential and tap into that infinite potential. This is the promise of meditation. Ancients from all religious backgrounds, they have meditated. Lord Jesus meditated, Buddha meditated, Mahavira meditated, Prophet meditated, and he called it as Murakaba. And many yogis and many philosophers as well. Many scientists like Einstein, I mean, they all had their own quiet moments. Think of Archimedes. How did he find his, has this Archimedes principle? In a relaxed state of mind, when he was just in a bathtub, he would simply relax with his eyes closed. Was he focusing on God? No. He did not have faith in God to tap into a creativity. Just relax. And that's what meditation offers. By relaxing physical system, relaxing our mind, relaxing our emotions, and we simply jump unknowingly into spiritual realm. But we can knowingly also can jump into spiritual realm with heartfulness way of practices. And that's what this whole book is all about, how one moves from one chakra to another chakra and changes our experience day after day. And can you measure this thing on scientific gadgets? To some extent, yes. Like delta waves that one feels or finds when person is in deep meditation. It is akin to almost going to sleep. These are scientifically proven facts. But the difference between the samadhi or going beyond the mind and deep sleep is very simple, that in deep sleep you are not aware. But going beyond the mind and in a state of samadhi, you have a state almost like deep sleep, having delta wave, but at the same time you're aware. That is the beauty of diving deeper into your consciousness, subconsciousness. And Dr. Lipton can share with us more about shadow self that he talks about in his book also.
I just
Listen,
wanted to quickly interject because Daaji mentioned the book, and we wanted to just say that today is the day that this book is being released here in North America. And anyone, if you have questions for Daaji or Dr. Lipton, please do put them in the chat below. Because we would like to, you can do that. We'd like to select a few of the top questions, and we will be sending a complimentary copy to some of those received questions. So please do submit your questions below. And without much further ado, you gentlemen can please carry on.
Okay, I very much appreciate that. I just want to say Bruce is what I refer to myself as, so I hope everybody calls me Bruce. That would be nice. I also want to say this is a very special day that this book is coming out because of a very important reason, and everybody is very clear of it if you are surfing the web or you're watching the news, or if you even look out your window, there's chaos all over the planet. This is not an accident. This is a necessary part of an evolution. And the evolution, I'll give you a reason why. Scientists at NASA, the space people here, have said that within the next 20 years, the civilization that we are living in will collapse. And we're not going back. The point is, we have to move forward. And moving forward in this case is very interesting because, as Daaji knows, we're moving forward, but guess where the knowledge is coming from that we're moving forward with is from ancient history, that from way back, especially in India, where India is the seat of quantum physics. Even before there was quantum physics, India was already doing quantum physics, the energy, the spirit, and all that. This is what needs to come back to the world. The idea that we are not just human beings, not just human bodies, but we're spiritual entities, that we have a life beyond this physical body, that we came into this body. Now, for me as a scientist, I never believed in that. I always believed, okay, genes and chromosomes and cells, and then you live and then you die. But one point hit me, and that is this. We cannot put our cells or our organs into other people. I cannot transplant a kidney into you, because if I put my kidney in your body, your immune system will say, not self. I go, oh, it knows your cells from other people's cells. That's why we can't exchange parts with each other. Each person has a unique self, and the immune system can see it. So if I put my cells into Daaji's body, his immune system will say not self and get rid of it. If I take Daaji's cells, put it into my body, my immune system will say not self and eliminate it. So when I started to look at this, I said, where is the self? Because the immune system can see it. And I found out a secret that changed my entire life. And that is, on the surface of your cells, with not the red blood cells, those are red blood cells we can donate to each other. That's not the same. On the other body cells, on the surface of the cell, there are proteins that are like antennas, like television antennas. And no two people have the same set of these antennas. And in fact, they have a name for them: self-receptors. Self-receptors. I go, but what does that mean? Well, at first scientists just said, oh, it's these proteins, these antennas that make us different. And I said, no way, you don't understand. It's the physics. I said, what do you mean? I said, the antennas receive a signal. I go, they don't make the signal, they receive a signal. I say, so where are the antennas? On the outside of the cell. where do you think the signal's coming from? I said, outside. So I said, all of us have a different set of receptors because each of us is receiving a different energy. It's called this. Let me just define this because this is important. In quantum physics, we call the invisible energy the field. I said, what's the definition? Field, invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. I go, there's another word, spirit. I say, what's the definition of spirit? Invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. I go, oh my God, quantum physics has acknowledged the existence, when you understand this biology with the antennas, that we're not even in here, that we are a spirit, an energy that plays through here. And all of a sudden, I didn't believe in spirituality. And then I'm looking at the science and the antennas, and I'm going, oh my God, my identity is not in the body. My identity is picked up by the body through the antennas. The first thing that happened to me was I lost my fear of death because I realized I cannot die. I'm not even in here. I'm play in here through the antennas. And I go, so why is this important? Because quantum physics is revealing what ancient India has talked about for over 1,000 years, that we are an energy, that we are playing through this body. And I could keep going, but I'm going to make it short here.
Actually, yeah, Bruce, we had a question for you from Sangeeta.
Yeah.
She was wondering if you practice any spiritual methods, or mostly is it logical analysis and understanding for your understanding about existence?
Well, I guess I have to put both of them together. If you understand spirituality and you understand that we are an energy and that energy comes together, and some energies can cancel each other, some energies can make the energy even higher, you start to say, how do I live with higher energy? You know why? Energy is life. The more energy you have, the more life you have. So if you start to live in harmony with the planet, which is energy, then you get more energy, and then you get a better life. And it's called living in harmony, not just with other people, living in harmony with nature around you, living in harmony with your yard, the forest, the beach, living in harmony. And that means, what about harmony? I said, that's not anger. That's not fighting. That's not greed. It's being a human being, being
And to that
compassionate.
point, yeah, we were talking about the changes happening in the world, and you mentioned at the beginning of the call some of the concerns that you had. So Daaji, Swati is asking, how do you see the world changing in the near future, and what is our individual and collaborative role in that change?
Well, the people who demand change in a positive way, unfortunately, is a minority. See, and amongst these minorities also, though they would like to see a change, action is required. See, the colossal changes, if you are mentioning of the present day situation of the war, Israel and rest of the surrounding countries. It's a very controversial thing. But where were the other guys before Moses come into picture? Right? So Moses and his people were already there in that part of the world. They were crucified over the years, and the Jewish people were cornered somehow. Right? And they are claiming that this is our land. This is an ancient land. And you have to look at it from the historical perspective. You see, one has to have the true understanding of the situation. Right? Would these people from Israel attack innocent people of Palestine? I don't think so. They don't have a desire. For over years, if you see the news, they have never ever attacked Palestine. Unless and until they are cornered, they will not make a move. Same thing with India. India never ever attacked any country. We are not here to create violence. We are people who believe in harmony within individual self, as well as within the family, in a community, in a country, in the universe. We like to believe, and we have always exercised that this whole planet is one family. It is nothing new. For thousands and thousands of years, Vedic literature, Vedic slokas, they talk of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, meaning this whole Vasudha, entire planet, is one family. And this is how we are nurtured. This is how, and I think most religious people, even Islam, believes in peace. There is no religion who does not believe in peace and love and compassion and kindness. It is the minority who creates the ruckus all over. Somehow one has to denounce it. Even the people from the same religious stuff, like amongst the Hindus also. Are all Hindus kind? I would not say so. But if a Hindu makes a noise and creates violence, rest of the Hindus should denounce such individuals. And same thing is expected from all religious backgrounds. So instead of taking sides, oh, this is my religious people and we have to protect them. No, you protect what is right. And to understand what is right and what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what is evil, what is worth keeping, the goodness part of it. Unless and until you're sensitized from within, unless and until we drop this prejudice and dogmatic approach to religion, this will continue. And I don't foresee that people will change so soon, unless and until there is so much of destruction. Because humanity has never learned anything from understanding. They learn from destruction, inconveniences, and massacre. And even after massacres, people forget. So it's a very tragic situation, and we need to pray. May there be peace in the world. What else can we do? We are not a group of people who can influence the minds of others. If I have to discuss certain things with my wife or with my children, can I convince them not to argue, not to fight, not to get irritated, not to become angry? No. These people, I don't even know them. How are they going to listen to me? Or if do we have an approach to the president of such and such a country and make a phone call and say, hey guys, don't do it. We don't have that. We don't have that luxury. So we simply pray and teach each other how to remain in peace. Don't take advantage of others and be good human being. But that is from within. Dr. Lipton was mentioning about peace, harmony. How are you going to create in others unless and until you have it in yourself? Unless you are peaceful, you cannot radiate peace outside. That energy thing, that quantum energy, that field that creates it, has to be created. We all nourish our physical body. We nourish our mental body. We nourish our emotional well-being. The field that we are talking about, which is crucial to this discussion, this is crucial to spirituality, is the spirit. How are we going to nourish and energize that spirit? What is the source of it? We know at physical level, we have balanced diet. We take vitamins and minerals and good food full of protein, etc. At a mental level, we interact with people like Bruce, people of that caliber, scientific mind, bridging with spirituality, new thoughts. Then we are enriching our mental body. Emotionally, our friends are there who fulfill our emotional needs. But the spirit, how are we going to enrich and nourish our spirit? It is the one thing that creates the harmony. All other three things can have harmony, but without the spiritual strength, without the spiritual energy, you can be rattled any moment. That innermost center has to be stabilized. Rest of the thing are at the periphery. The center has to be, and that's why one of the term that is used in Sanskrit, Bruce, it is called swasthya. And the meaning of swasthya means complete health. That is traditionally understood as complete health, physical, mental, spiritual. But when you dissect this word swasthya, meaning one who is settled within oneself, within his own spirit, not on the body, not on the mind, not on the emotions, but on the self, the capital S, then the magic can happen, creating harmony. It just becomes automatic. One doesn't have to make any effort. It just happens.
Can I add, Emma, at this moment? Okay,
Please.
I'd like to thank you because this is so critical. Now, the group of us here on this program right now recognize spirituality as a real experience, that there is a real spirit and a real energy involved. Unfortunately, most people talk about spirituality, but don't have a real deep belief in spirituality. They go to their place of worship and they say, oh, spirit and all this, and they go home and spirit didn't go home with them. Spirit stayed at the place where they were praying. And the idea about it is because people have only a belief in spirit because other people told them there's a spirit. And that means that, do they really believe it in their heart, or do they just say the words? And unfortunately, the vast majority of people say the words spirit, but don't know the deepest meaning of the truth of what spirituality is. And this is why Daaji and I have come together, because on a scientific level, I was not spiritual. Why? I'm science. Okay. But when I saw the idea that we are a broadcast, an energy coming in, I give the analogy. My body is a television set, and my spirit is the program. So you're watching the Bruce show right now. And I say, why is this important? Because people don't understand that we are more than this body. And this is when I started to understand the nature of what are called self-receptors and physics, quantum physics. And all of a sudden I realized we are more than this body. We came as spiritual entities. I said, then why do we have so much problem? And the answer is this. We are spiritual entities. We're born into this world. And then to live in this world, we become what is called program. How to become a member of a family. How to become a member of a community. You have to learn this as a child, otherwise you won't fit. And I say, so then there's teaching. I go, yeah. And I go, this is where the separation occurs. We have this religion teaching this group. We have another religion over here teaching this group. The two religions are programs. That's not us. We're the spirit. But when you buy the program, you buy a belief. And if the beliefs don't match up, because we have the different religions, different beliefs, I say they separate us. And the idea is we all came from the same place, and yet we are programmed to see ourselves as different from each other. This is the false story that we have to come out of this story and recognize, I don't care what your religion is. We all came from the same place. We are all the same thing. It's only the program that has taken us and separated us. And so, listen, the Mideast is a great example for this right now. I go, why? We got two different programs. We have Arab programs, we have Jewish programs, Muslim and Jew, and they have different programs, and they don't seem to get together. And I go, but it's the belief system of their religions that are keeping them apart. That the new understanding is we all are from the same source. If you fight each other, you're fighting yourself, because we all are the same. And I tried to bring this up in a newsletter recently to talk about peace. And I was not surprised, but the number of people who got mad at me because I didn't take one side or I didn't take the other side. I said both sides are wrong. I say the only way you can get out is this break, not the two sides. We're people. We're all spirit. We all came from the same place. And I tried to bring that back together in harmony, but the belief systems keep fighting each other and they blame each other for the problem. And the thing is, they're both responsible for the problem. The only way we get out of the problem is talk together. Emma, please go ahead.
Yes, that's good. This ties into very much to what you were saying about the spirit and the essential self, which is a question we have from Laura. In moving forward, what is the most important thing that we need to do to be that authentic self?
Can I just follow through and then I'll let my master Daaji talk. I'll first say something. The idea is this. Do you really know? Knowledge is power. People have said that for hundreds and hundreds of years. Knowledge is power. Let me say the same thing in a different way. A lack of knowledge is a lack of power. What you don't know can disempower you. And I say, and what is it that we need to know? From ancient texts, and especially from India, ancient texts and today's modern quantum physics, they both are giving us knowledge that the public doesn't really understand. The general public doesn't get it. But the ancient texts and quantum physics both recognize the nature of energy, the invisible energy that we're living in, is shaping who we are. And each of us receives a different energy broadcast. So each of us is a spirit, but we're also being programmed to live in the world. And then the teachers that have programmed us have separated us into separate groups. And sometimes the groups fight each other. I always, marvel about Christians believe in Jesus, the God of love and peace. And, Jesus is the example of love and harmony and peace. I say, then how come Catholics and Protestants are fighting each other in Europe when they both are coming from the same God of love? It surprises me. But the point about it is this: what is the knowledge? What if you really knew that you were spiritual? What if you really woke up every day knowing I am a spirit living in this world? I say, if you knew you were a spirit, then you wouldn't be separated from all the other people, because all of us are from the spirit. And this is the wake-up call. Knowledge is power. When the public knows spirituality, not as, oh, I believe in spirituality. No, when the public knows spirituality as science, then all of a sudden it says, okay, we're all in the same world. We all came from the same place. That when we fight each other, we're fighting ourselves. And Daaji's story is the critical story to take that philosophy and make it part of the world. The question is, does the average person really believe in spirituality, or does the average person say, I'm spiritual, but doesn't really have the science of the belief of that? They just say it because it sounds good. I say, no, it doesn't sound good. It's real. And if you understand it, we all come from the same source. We are all a piece of God. We're all a piece of the universe. If you shoot another person, you're shooting a brother or a sister. Why? We all came from the same place. And Daaji's work is very critical because it says, knowledge, if you have this knowledge, then peace on this planet is our destination. I'll close very quickly because you know me, I'm going to keep talking, Daaji. So I just shut up a bit, but I say one thing. When I was not spiritual, and then I saw the mechanism, the receptors on the cells, the spirit from the physics coming in, and then I said, oh my God, I'm a spiritual person. I mean, it didn't take me years to get spirituality. It took me a minute to get spiritual. I was not spiritual, then I was spiritual. And my mind was like, oh, and I asked myself this question. I asked myself a science question. Why have a body and a spirit? Why not just be a spirit? And my cells, the answer came from my cells. And my cells said to me in a question, so I always joke, I call them Jewish comedian cells, because Jewish people answer a question with a question. I asked what both the body and the spirit, and the cells asked me a question. If you're just a spirit, Bruce, what does chocolate taste like? And you stop and think about that for a minute, because it was the most profound thing I ever heard in my life. I say, why? This body is an enhancement of spirit. This body takes energy and turns it into vision so we could see. This body takes sound and puts it in and turns it into energy that we can understand. Even taste and touch and smell, all of these are coming from the body, but they enhance our spirituality. To have an experience with this body enhances us. But we've turned this whole story around and forgot why we're here. We came here, and I say this in my lectures. I will stop, Emma, in 1 second. I will stop. I say this. A lot of people have been given a belief that if you die and you have a good life, you can go to a place called heaven. And I go, I have a new understanding of science. You were born into heaven. This is where you came to create. And if all of us are creators, why do we have all this problem? Because you're not creating from your heart, you're creating from a program. And the program has turned us against each other. I said, but you're creating somebody else's belief system. I go, no, yeah, that's true. And guess what? When you fall in love with somebody, your life is blah, 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 blah. And then you meet somebody and you fall in love. 24 hours later, oh, life is so beautiful. Life is heaven on earth. I go, that's why we were here. Because when you fall in love, you stop playing program and you start creating from your heart.
The programming aspect really segues very nicely into our next question.
Yes.
Daaji, the subtitle of your book is Meditation, Chakras, and the Journey to the Center. So could you please speak about the role of chakras in seeing the world without any filters?
Now, before we get into it, I would like to extend my little understanding and share and reiterate what Dr. Lipton just mentioned on knowledge. There are various knowledge systems where we borrow knowledge from religious indoctrinations, or when we are made to believe that vacuum has a greater power through the science. But unless and until I perform an experiment on vacuum, the power of vacuum, I will not be able to understand it. You know, I'm a pharmacy student all my life, and we are taught how to manufacture various things, taught how to understand the mechanism of drugs. Wonderful. But when I actually manufacture it myself, I gain different experience altogether. And then my knowledge becomes even better. It is embellished. Knowing that God is there, knowing that Spirit is there is one thing. Knowing that there is God, knowing that Spirit is within me is one thing. It's superficial knowledge. But to experience it, it's greater. See, most religious people, if you ask them a question, do you believe in God? They'll say, yes, yes. Why do you ask me such a question? Especially when you ask elderly person, they get even mad. They say, why are you asking me this question? Don't you think I go to church or I go to temple or I go to mosque? But then you ask, why do you do this? They say, I do it because the system says so. My parents taught me so. But what do you say about God and the Spirit? He said, I don't know. Most people will say, I don't know. Personally speaking, I don't know. And spirituality is all about offering you an experience and making your knowledge worthwhile. See, when you meditate, that is a part of the spiritual system. And when you experience that once in a blue, is it enough? I don't think so. because it is like experiencing the hospitality of someone great in, you have a palace or you have a great hospitality. And then when you come back home from your very wealthy friend's hospitality, what do you think at that time? You think, oh, hospitality was great, but I wish I was also as rich. So the divine experiences are great. They're wonderful. But have I become divine myself? So we move from knowledge to experience to becoming. And this becoming has to become permanent, that loving now and then. Instead of that, if I become love myself, I become more blissful then, see. And a time comes, spirituality says, and I have mentioned in this book, that even bliss becomes too heavy. You transcend that. And that is the beauty of spirituality, you see. Now, when Emma was asking me a question on chakras and things like that, the idea came to me. I had this napkin with me. Consider this as yourself. Okay. And if I make one knot here, and I make another knot, and I make another knot, is this the same self? In a way it is, and in a way it is not, because it has formed the knots. Likewise, we form chakras in our system. When I hate someone, when I fall in love with someone, so-called, with the sensual intentions, when I have worries like, when am I going to feed my children? Where am I going to get the college fees for my children? How am I going to run my business, or how am I going to withstand with my job? My wife is filing me a divorce. How am I going to stand? All these creates vibratory pattern in the field. This field that we carry is very specific. Each part of the body, like a receptor, dopamine attaches to dopamine receptors, serotonin attaches to serotonin receptors. They're very specific. Sensual related vibrations will settle at a particular chakra. What is related to material world will settle at a particular chakra. Anger will, the vibrations triggered will settle at a particular chakra in the field of that energy field. When you become so fearful or fearless, they are both positive and negative energy, just as love, hate, peace, restlessness, content versus restlessness, or full of desires, fear versus fearlessness. All these dualities, the vibrations created by these dualities, are gravitating or attaching themselves to particular receptors in the energy field. What meditation does through heartfulness practices, you are able to erase these vibratory patterns, dissolve these vibrations, and then what happens is you are dissolving these knots, and the self becomes the self as it was before. Dr. Bruce Lipton mentioned about how we all came from the same source. When we all came from the same source, we were all pure. Down the line, we went on creating many vibratory patterns in our system. We call conditioning, programming. If you are born in certain family, in certain community, in a certain country, with a certain education, you are programmed in certain way. And this is how we lead our life. Let's talk about only this life. Those who believe in multiple lives, they are the product of so many programming from many lives in the past, if you believe in that. So this theory that every thought, every action, or even inaction creates certain vibrations, certain vibratory patterns, and they settle at a chakra. To me, when Gita, the holy book amongst Indians, Hindus especially, they say every action has its reaction. Every action creates certain impressions or certain programming in you. I also believe in that, but what is more serious than that is Lord Krishna missed out, is inaction. That I want to change myself, but if I remain inactive about my change, then that is not going to happen. And when I reflect on my life, that I should have said someone, I really loved you, or I love you, when I was supposed to say it, and I did not say it. And then she marries somebody else, and then you suffer all your life. You see, inaction creates more problems than doing a wrong thing. You should have done your part. For example, that, I had my medical test and I was supposed to give my exams, and I did not go for my exams. So inaction creates many losses in our life. So it's not only the good actions, but we have to be more careful with our inactions also, that I'm supposed to do things, you better do it right then and there. Don't wait for the future. Same thing with meditation, that if I have to center myself, if I have to enrich not only my physical, mental, emotional being, but my spirit itself, it's within me. My spirit is not in some holy place. My spirit is not in my mother's womb. My spirit is not in with my father. It's within me. And I give you a small, beautiful example, Dr. Bruce Lipton, is like a mother delivering a child. As soon as, baby is delivered, it begins to cry, right? And if this baby doesn't cry, then the doctors go haywire. The nurses run around, try to stimulate the heart, make them breathe, make the baby breathe. And even then baby does not cry. That means that thing that gives you life, we generally call it spirit or soul or Atman. It's not there. It doesn't matter what you call it. But that energy that should have come did not come. The fact that I'm breathing, the fact that we are talking and listening is a proof that the spirit is still within me, enjoying the music, enjoying what we are discussing. You mentioned about how will the spirit know without the body the taste of a chocolate? It's not possible. I find one thing, many people ask me this question, that what is the purpose of spirit itself incarnating? What is the purpose of embodying itself? And the answer comes to me that it is evolution. It is for its evolution. But when we talk of evolution, we are drifted into science, physical evolution. And am I going to see Dr. Bruce Lipton flying like an eagle in this lifetime? I doubt it. Or do you expect me to swim like a dolphin? Impossible. We don't have such lifespan to change the way we want to change. So what changes is our consciousness. And as the consciousness changes, it also helps the spirit to evolve to the next level. And then it will be reborn into greater and greater and greater dimensions. This is one dimension. Then there is another invisible dimension. And then there is greater invisible dimension. And the journey continues. It's infinite.
I love the part, the journey continues.
Yes.
That this is just one of our life experiences, and that we have had many and we have more to come. And I agree with you, this very important part about our life changes our spirit. I say, how does it do that? I say, well, the spirit is a broadcast, like a television broadcast, and is picked up by my brain, and I play the show. But people don't know this. Your thoughts in your head are not staying in your head. I could
Hmm.
read your thoughts. I put wires on your head called electroencephalograph, EEG. I could read your brain activity. And we always said, oh, our brain and our thinking is inside. There's a new device that reads brain activity. It's not EEG, it's called MEG, magnetoencephalograph, reads brain activity. I say, yeah, well, it's unique. The probe is out here. The probe does not even touch you. I say, what is it doing? I said, it's reading your brain. It's reading your consciousness. I go, your consciousness is not contained in your head. It's broadcast back to who you are. So not only are you bringing your spirit in, but you're also adjusting your spirit with your consciousness because you're broadcasting it back. And this is why the idea of the karma comes in. Are you broadcasting something back that makes your spirit stronger and better? Or is your life experiences actually messing with your spiritual self, making an alteration of some kind because you're not in harmony? And this is why the meditation part becomes so critical, because meditation is not looking in, meditation is going out, and that you are connected. And this is so important because your life experiences change the character of your spirit at this point. And so it becomes really important for us to recognize what we do in today's world is affecting us at a bigger level. And as Daaji said, this is only one level. When you get enough awareness, we jump to another level. And so the idea is this is a training ground where we're learning to
Yes.
become bigger and better. And that's why Daaji's work to me is so critical. And his new book, I want people to understand that his new book is knowledge, and knowledge is power. And that's why I highly recommend that you not just get this book, but read it and learn it, because there's power in Daaji's words.
Thank you, Dr. Lipton. I appreciate
Bruce,
that.
Bruce. Call me Bruce, please, Daaji. Call me Bruce. I'll feel better.
I don't know how am I going to have courage to say Bruce to you. I can't. You're so respectable, and I don't have the guts to say my first name.
I so appreciate you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, this is more about experience. What I'm trying to tell the world, experience it. And once you experience, you cannot forget it. It stays with you forever. And the desire to experience more and more things will come. And in the process, we change for better. From animalistic or mere human to humane to divine, perhaps, if we work hard.
Well, we came from the divine. We're a piece of the divine. And this is why I get some religions upset me, because they say, no, God and you are separate from each other. I say, no, we are always connected with God. We're always connected with spirit. No one can separate you from that spirit. And when we own who we really are, we are each a piece of God on this planet, being creators. Are you creating what you want, or are you creating what you've been programmed? That's the difference.
Excellent.
Emma, you have any question?
No, that's all.
Okay,
No, that's not all. We have many.
This is beginning.
This to me is so important, because as we started off with, there are people that understand what we are talking about right now, but it's not a large number. The majority of people have no understanding. Until they have knowledge, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the power. And this is why, for example, Daaji's book is so important. We must empower people with knowledge of who they are, so they can express their divinity on this planet, and not wait for some after thing, because this is, in my book, This is the version of heaven. You came here to create. When you create in love, you have a whole different world. When you create in fear, we have today's world. And this is why it's important for Daaji's book to be read and understood and then practiced. That's the difference. You can read it, you can learn it, but can you practice it? Can you use it in your everyday life? And the answer is yes. So we have to take the knowledge from here and put it into the body from down below. But knowledge is power. And where are you going to get that knowledge? Well, we already have, because today's a special day. This book is being released, and the book is a very important contribution to help us evolve from the problems of today's world into what we could all look at as heaven on earth. What if
Daaji,
everyone... Go ahead, Emma, darling.
Would you like to share a little bit, Daaji, about how you had the idea of writing this book and making these ideas available to all?
Well. This was already written earlier by my master. But then the idea came that it should be, the old wine should be packaged again in a language that we today can understand. And that's what I have tried to do. Make it more experiential, make it more understandable. Because my master's language was quite tough. He would put just like that, as you said. And I have, to some extent, dramatized it and even made it even simpler. It's nothing more profound than what was already there. It is the same thing. It's just different packaging and different expression. And this actually happened once while I was conducting meditation session in New Jersey. And one after the other, all this knowledge descended. And I said I should start writing. And that's when I jotted some few words. I think it was in 2015 or 2017. I don't recollect now. But then, since then, I started writing, and it took me so many years. And we have the book now. Yeah.
Let me just add, Emma, first, same thing. I came from the science field. And I always joke, like, science is like the church. We put it in Latin, so nobody knows what we're talking about. And when I started writing my book, Biology of Belief, and I did the science, writing the science, and I gave it to some people, I said, tell me what you think. And they said, we didn't understand the word you were saying. And I realized I have to translate the science Latin into everyday language. This is what Daaji has done as well. Because if we use that other language, then people, they just don't understand the meaning of it. But we have to make it personal. So Daaji's book and my book, both of them are taking complex knowledge and making it into readable information for the public so that we can use that knowledge and not be like, what did he say? No, I can understand what he says because he's speaking in my language now. And this is, it's funny. I just thought of it. I just realized the Bible always was written in Latin, and only the priests could read the Latin. And then it was Gutenberg who turned it into German, so everybody could read it, and it changed the entire world. And so Daaji's book is like the Gutenberg version of spirituality. So everybody can understand it, and that if you can't understand it, the big words don't mean anything. And so
I can attest that it's a very accessibly written way to approach these topics. So definitely, Daaji, I know it's getting late over there, so just want to check in about.
Thank you. Thank you for everything, and thank you, Dr. Lipton. And
Bruce,
where are you right now? In New Zealand or in US?
What about US?
Where are you now? In New Zealand or in
California?
US? You're in California. Which part? Where are you at?
Right near San Francisco. Right near And I love it. People say, where are you from? I say, California. That's not the United States. California has its own thinking separate from the rest of the United States. So I'm very happy to be a resident of the country of California.
Wonderful, wonderful. The reason I asked, I would like to conduct experiment on consciousness.
Yes.
And these experiments relates to, you were just mentioning how you perceive things. It's not inside. It's not, somehow it works through a field, through a quantum field. I would send about half a dozen children or whatever I have who are expert in perceiving things with closed eyes. So you'll be able to see how their intuition has developed, and they can train many other children. You can say these are indigo type of children, and I would ask someone to contact you and bring those guys, and then let's develop it further.
Well, listen, any opportunity to be collaborating with you is an honor for me. And because I know how important your work is for the evolution of our planet. And that's why, again, when I started, I said I was honored to be here. I'm still honored to be here because the world needs you. We need it right now. And because we are facing an evolution, we're getting out of an old way of living, and we have to move into a new way with harmony and balance, and where people are in harmony with nature, because we've been destroying nature thinking that we're somehow separate from nature. We are nature. And it's important to live in harmony. And I say, well, then first you have to live in harmony with yourself. You're a very important fact. When we do belief work, we test people for the belief. This is what we test. I love myself. This is true. 80% to 90% of every audience will not test positive for I love myself. And I say, until you love yourself, we can't get out of the hole we're in. And it's unfortunate because it was the programming when we were children. They criticized us about not good enough, not deserving, not smart enough. And that carries in our life, the rest of our life. And then we criticize ourselves. The evolution that we are facing is awareness that you were programmed, that you are powerful, that you are real, that you are a spirit, that you are a creator. Now, I can talk about it from the science side, but it's more important to talk about it from the actual living side, which you bring into the story, Daaji, so that people can say there's a science part and there's a human part to the same story. And that's why, again, I'm honored to be with you, because together, when we put the science and the spirituality back into one, that's the future of the planet. And so I'm so happy to be on this side of the story, because I've been living it.
Well, it's been excellent having both of your perspectives from both of those dimensions. Thank you so much for joining us, Bruce. Also awkward for me to say. Thank you for all of your perspective and all the thoughts that you've had to share.
Well, I just want to say again, I really want to throw my support behind Daaji's new book, because this is a written for understanding of who we really are, breaking it down into people talk so we know who we are, take the mystery out of the mystery, and give us the straight story. So thank you so much for your work, Daaji. I'm honored to be.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Salutes. Salam.
Salam.
And thank you to all of you who have joined us today. Thank you for those of you who have submitted questions. We'll be in touch with you about getting your copy of the book. And for the rest of you, please feel free to pick up your copy at your local bookstore. It's released in North America as of today. So a wonderful conversation again, Bruce, and all the best to all of you in the future.